Hey YouTube, got this RAS-12 here from Intrepid. Been wanting to check it out for a while, been hearing a lot of things about it, and thought I'd give you a run through on what it comes with and what it is essentially. It's a new type of, first of all, it's a new type of 12 gauge round, not your typical rimmed flat nose shot shell. It's a new type of shot shell with an actual cap. The whole body of the shell itself is some kind of a polymer. It has a recessed or rebated rim here at the back, and it's relatively lightweight for what it is. We'll see how that holds up later. But this, all I was able to procure at the moment is some double-aught buckshot, but that's a pretty good standard to start with. Your magazine here is a Magpul PMag 20 LR that's been modified. Let's get this out and show you here. The follower is obviously very different, and the feed lips look like they have been modified somewhat as well to accommodate the shape of the round. Beyond that, it looks like your typical Magpul, 7.62 20-round magazine. In this case, for the RAS-12, it's actually a 5-round magazine, but I'm assuming there'll probably be more capacities to come later. Anyway, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. You have your bolt carrier assembly here. Looks like this is designed basically the same as any piston drive carrier for SR-25 or AR-10 type rifles. The bolt, however, is far different. It's a spring-loaded, I believe they call it the monolithic bolt. Very nicely machined piece of equipment here. But beyond that, it has some kind of oxide, feels like some kind of oxide finish on the carrier itself, and the bolt looks like it's in the white stainless. And as for your piston, you've got this long stroke piston with a couple of, looks like silicon gas rings inside the piston itself, and this appears to be made out of some kind of high chrome stainless, which would be good for longevity. It does come, the upper kit comes with a replacement buffer spring, which you're to replace. Use your existing AR-10, DPMS A4 or LAR-308 carbine buffer, but you replace your spring with the one intended for the RAS-12. It's going to have different weight settings there. This is your gas plug. This is actually what you use to basically hold the piston in place. You use your typical charging handle, and from there we move on to the upper itself. It's a little heavier than a typical AR-10 carbine type upper. I think the gas block, the muzzle device, and the free float has a little bit something to do with that, being that it's all metal, but it's not that heavy actually. It's lighter than I thought it was going to be when I first looked at it. All right, let's get this thing assembled first. Piston back inside and get it to line up. That goes in. Got a little index tab here. Definitely a tight fit. Okay, now your piston's in, and then you just install the upper. I should say assemble the upper the same way you would any other AR type form factor firearm. Okay. Your upper is now assembled. Take your existing carbine buffer and place it in the new spring. Install that in your standard DPMS 308 carbine. This would probably work on one of the Bushmasters, the newer Bushmasters, which basically use the same lower, except for they have that replaceable trigger guard. In any event, you got your pins out. Buffer installed. You can go ahead and mate your two receivers. Put in the front pin, put in the rear pin, function check, reset, and you're assembled. Okay. Got a little EOTech here for sights. We'll mostly be function checking it today, so no need to do any specific zeros besides I'm running buckshot, so it's not as critical as with a slug. Alright, actually let's see how this thing balances now that we got her together. It actually doesn't balance too bad at all. It comes up naturally just like an AR-10 carbine, or an SR-25 or LAR-308, or you get the picture. There's all kinds of I use the term AR-10 loosely. It'll apply to pretty much any 7.62 type AR in this video anyway. That's how I'm referring to it. But that's the lowdown. The mag fits in just as anyone would expect it to. And there she is, and we'll take her out and shoot her and go from there.